Hello and welcome to your American accent training. My name is Alyssa and today we are going to talk about final sounds. Final sounds are the sounds that come at the ends of words. This seems kind of obvious, but sometimes it's our natural tendency to cut the last sound and to not say it correctly. We're going to review 4 difficult sounds today that come at the ends of words, that many Spanish speakers have trouble with these sounds when they appear at the end of a word, okay? And that's because many Spanish words do not end with these sounds, and so you're not used to saying those sounds at the ends of words. So, let's start with the P sound. To make the P sound, you simply put your lips together and open them up and force air through. That motion of opening your lips and forcing air through is what creates the P sound. It's like this. Try it. Okay, now let's try saying the P sound, but put your hand in front of your mouth. You should feel the air being forced through. That's how much air is being forced through. Okay, ready? Excellent. Did you feel the air? You should have felt the air coming onto your hand because that is what creates the P sound. Okay? Now, that's pretty easy when you say a word like pink, right? You start off with that strong P sound. But when the P comes at the end of the word, that's when it gets a little trickier because you have to close and then open your mouth quickly at the end, the final sound of the word. So that is where many Spanish speakers have trouble. So for example, in a word like stop, instead of saying stop, they might say stop and not say any sound at the end. Or they might say stop and they just leave their mouth closed, and instead of opening it and forcing the air through, you get a word that doesn't even exist. So this is very important. We have to make sure that we say the P sound completely at the end of the word. It means closing and opening your mouth to say that one sound, okay? Let's try a couple of examples. We're going to start with stop, okay? Stop. Good, excellent. Mop. Shop. Ship. Soup. Excellent. Now let's try a few sentences with these, okay? I left my cap in the shop and had to stop. The envelope was next to the lamp and tape. Use a napkin or a mop after you sweep the floor. Very good. Excellent. Okay. Now let's talk about the B sound. The B sound, you make the exact same way as the P sound, except you add your voice. Remember voiced and voiceless consonants. P is voiceless. Put your hand on your throat. Try it. You don't feel a vibration because you're not using your voice. Now, if you use the exact same motion with your mouth, but add your voice, that becomes a B sound. We'll start with P, we'll add our voice, and it'll become B. Listen. That's a B sound. Same as P, but with our voice. Ba, ba, ba. Try it. Very good. Okay, now, this is also a very difficult sound at the end of words You have to do the same thing, close and open your mouth, and you have to add your voice, right? So this can get tricky at the end of words. And a big problem comes in when a word is very similar to another one, but one ends in P and one ends in B. It changes the meaning of the word, so we have to be very careful when we pronounce it. Okay, so the difficult part with the B at the end of the word, you have to open and close your mouth and add your voice. That can become difficult. Think of, for example, the word club. Many people might be tempted to say a P instead of a B. For example, club. Or to not really say a strong sound at all, not say a sound at all, like club. Just close your mouth. That's incorrect. You need to say the strong B sound, closing and opening your mouth and using your voice. Club. Try it. Good. Grab. Excellent. Okay. Now, what can become tricky is if you have a word that's very similar and one ends in P and one ends in B. You have to make sure that your P is voiceless and your B is voiced. Think about these examples. Cup. That is voiceless. Put your hand on your throat. Cup. It's a P. The end should not vibrate. Now change the P to a B. Add your voice. Cub. Cup. Cub. Do you hear the difference? Okay, now let's try another example. Cap. That's voiceless. We're not using our voice. Now let's try it with the B. Cab. Two different, completely different words, completely different meanings. One is voiceless, one is voiced. We have to be careful with that. You're doing a good job. Let's try some sentences now, okay? I took a cab to go to a job interview in a golf club. Since I'm going to have a writing lab, I will grab your books and check some websites. I found a dirty baby bib in the crib last night. Now we're going to talk about T and D sounds at the ends of words. T is a voiceless consonant. Put your hand on your throat. Put your tongue on the top of your mouth, drop it down, and push air through. Your voice box should not be vibrating because it's a voiceless sound. You're just using your air, right? Okay? Now, this is a pretty easy sound. It's a sound that you have in Spanish. The problem is, once again, when it ends a word, when it's a final sound, you have to make sure your tongue goes up and then down as you force out air. What many Spanish speakers do is they just leave their tongue up at the top of their mouth. Cat instead of cat. Up and then down. Cat, wrong. Cat. Cat. Try that. Good. Excellent. Okay. Now let's try some examples with T at the end. Ready? I ate chocolate and fruit last week. Excellent. Very good. Okay, now, the T sound, your tongue goes to the top and then drops down and you force the air out. Now we're going to make the exact same motion, but we're going to add our voice, and that makes the D sound. So put your hand on your throat. We'll make the T sound, and then we'll add our voice, and it'll make D. That's the D sound. Okay, so just like with the B sound, you have to make the correct position. Your tongue goes up and down, and then also add your voice, right? Think about the word sad. Sad. That is my tongue going up and then down, and my voice also being added. Try that. Sad. Very good. Excellent. Now, some words are very similar, but one word ends in a T, one word ends in a D, and they mean two different things. We have to be careful with those words. Think about the word bat. Bat. Put your hand on your throat. You shouldn't hear a vibration at the end. Bat. Now, if we change the T to a D, we add our voice, it changes to bad. Excellent. Very good. Okay. Now think about the word hat. Hat. That's voiceless at the end. Try it. Hat. Now change the T to a D. Had. Had. Very good. Two completely different words with two completely different meanings. Have to make sure that one is voiceless when it's supposed to be voiceless, and the other is voiced when it's supposed to be voiced. Let's try some sentences, okay? The kid cried because he didn't like the food. My dad was sad because I received a bad grade. Did you read that red book? People say it is good. Very good. Excellent. Those are final sounds. Remember not to give up on a word. Sometimes we see a word and we start off pronouncing it so well, and by the end, our tongues get a little lazy, and we just don't say the word correctly. This lesson was all about final sounds, finishing the word correctly and saying it correctly until the end. You did an excellent job. I'm proud of you, and I'll see you next time.